Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new here. Today I'm going to be talking about and showing you what my savings transfer or savings process looks like. We haven't been saving really consistently since before the summer, so we are now getting back on track and starting up our savings routine again. The first thing I did was, and what I usually like to do, is make sure we have an updated savings tracker. And for us, that means that making sure that our savings amounts on here, the current balance, matches with our checking account, or not checking account, our savings accounts. And we do use Capital One. I'm actually going to log in here really quickly. Okay, so what I like to do is make sure that the amount here matches with our savings tracker. And I just like to do that because I just like to stay on top of it. And for the most part, there's no discrepancies. It's pretty good, usually pretty good about making sure that it's accurate. It's really not that hard. I always make it out to seem like it's a lot harder than it is, but it's really not, because we did have to update recently, because the last time I updated was in before May, so I just had to do May, June, July, August, September, so quite a few months, but it actually didn't take too long to update. So these are our current amounts that we have in our savings, in our digital savings accounts, of course, which are these ones highlighted in the yellow. These ones, of course, are different. It's our retirement fund and college fund, and our emergency saving is with our Capital One as well. So after I make sure that everything is updated with what we've saved and what we've used, I will go into our current month, and we are in October right now, and we are in the second paycheck budget. What I like to do is, when I'm mapping this out, before I make any of the transfers, I usually will text my husband and let him know, either text him or talk to him about it the night before. Usually before we go to bed, I kind of talk about this with him and see if he's okay with the amounts, and he usually is. So when I talk to my husband about the numbers here and why we're saving this amount, I usually will tell him what it's going to be for. We actually had, I think I put $1,000 here before when I was making this budget, but after looking at what's going to be happening the next few months, we did decide to reduce that so that we can put a little bit more in our travel fund, since we are going to be spending the holidays or spending Thanksgiving weekend and my birthday over in San Jose, which is about 6 hours away from us. So I'll get to spend time with my mom and San Jose family. So we wanted to make sure we saved for that trip. And then we are saving for my son's birthday party that's going to be in January, so we're trying to get those saved for until then. And since everything is going to be going just straight into our Capital One savings, which is where we have our sinking funds and emergency fund, I'm just going to take this total amount, the $1,255, and I'm going to go over and log into my Wells Fargo really quickly, and I'm going to do a Zelle transfer from our checking account into the Capital One 360 checking account. So this is where we're at in our Wells Fargo, and I will just go over to transfer and pay, and we'll hit Zelle, and then I'm going to send it to myself. This is me over here, and the reason why I like to use Zelle is because it's pretty instant. It usually will transfer over right away. I know it says 30 minutes, but it really happens instantly. Like, I'll get the notification from Capital One. So $1,255. I'll just put like sinking funds on here, and then just click continue, and then it should transfer over. I'll get a notification from Wells Fargo, usually through text message, and then my Capital One will also send me a text message as well. So I'm just gonna hit send money to make sure it goes through, and then I'm gonna go over to my Capital One. I'm gonna hit refresh, and it should pop up here in our checking account. And then from here, once it loads, so once it loads, I will just go into my Capital One checking account, and then since I have a bigger screen, I'm going to just put my budget side by side. just so I can see it right here as I'm transferring. So I'm just going to go here to transfer money. And as I transfer to each one, so from checking account to emergencies, just one time, I'm going to put 250, transfer that over, exit out of there, and I will put it on here, 250. I'm going to show you one more, and then I'll just fast forward through the rest or zoom past the rest, and then transfer money again. So this one is going to be to our Christmas. It's nice to label your sinking funds instead of just relying on the account numbers. And you can also make it fun as well too. So, you know, name it whatever sounds nice for you guys. Mine's just plain and simple. This one's for Christmas, so it's a Christmas fund. And yeah, so it'll automatically get deducted from here. And I like to just go through here and make sure that I go through each one. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the rest of our sinking funds, and then we'll kind of show you how I track this in our expense tracker. Okay, so now that that's all transferred over, I'm going to combine my pages again, and then to track this in our spending, in our expense tracker. So what I have over here, I think I still need to go through and track our spending from, what's today? Today's the 20th. We didn't really spend too much, just my husband's food allowance, and I think that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to go ahead and add our transfer today, and what I would like to do is just put Zelle transfer to capital for sinking funds, and I'll just put savings here, and that was a total of $12.55 because that is still taken down as an expense because it's coming out of our checking account, and it's $12.55 that was sent over. And then now I have this amount left, and what I usually like to do is I'll go back into my Wells Fargo account, and while I'm here I would normally really just track our spending already, since I'm in my account. I normally track our spending usually Mondays and Fridays. It's Thursday right now, and yeah, so the transfer did show up already, and the only thing, there's quite a lot of things on here that I have to track, so I will go ahead and do that. And then what I like to do is have a amount, what I like to do is check to make sure that our checking account matches up with our budget, and of course here it does not. This one says 1986 or 1986, and right here it says 1657, and that's only because I haven't accounted for all these expenses since I last tracked, which was on Monday. That is pretty much it. Nice, quick, and easy routine. All I do really is just, let me go back to my savings tracker here. So I just take a look at what it's looking like in our budget, make sure our savings, of course, is updated first, and then I will go ahead and check in with our budget to check in with our budget and check in with the husband and make sure the amounts that we are transferring over make sense, and there's nothing else that we need to pay for that came up or anything. And then I will do the transfer from my Wells Fargo account using Zelle, transfer it over to Capital One, and then from our Capital One checking account, transfer it over to all those different savings accounts. Now, I've had some people that I've helped set up like their digital sinking fund, and they have used Ally, the ALLY bank. And if you don't want to open up multiple savings accounts, I believe Ally Bank will allow you to open up a savings account, and then from that savings account have 10 different buckets or different savings categories. I believe it's just up to 10. So that's another option if you feel overwhelmed with all of these different accounts. So yeah, just a little tip there if you guys are considering opening up multiple savings accounts or having digital sinking funds. For us, it works out because we're not really good at keeping cash, for one, and I just like to be able to transfer things out online. So yeah, anyways, I hope that this was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments down below what your savings routine looks like, Or how do you guys save your sinking funds? Do you save up in cash, or do you use digital sinking funds like I do? Let me know in the comments. And thank you again so much for watching, especially for watching till the end. And I will talk to you in my next video. Have a good one, guys. Bye.